Okay, well, it's been a lovely day for December 21st, 2012. You know, oddly, for some reason today, I had a memory of when I was about 14 years old, and I was thinking, I remember the train of thought. I said, let's see, what year would I be 60? And keep in mind, this is 66. So I had added up and came to the conclusion, oh, it'll be 2012. Remember back then, boy, that seemed like forever. Looking back, it seemed like forever too. Anyway, I brought the I Ching book along with me, and I did a 3-coin toss to, with the question in mind, what does this, shift really mean, or does it mean anything, or what is the significance of all this? And very interesting. Of course, because the I Ching is brutally meaningful. I got hexagram number 56, called the Wanderer, and the thing I love about oracles in general is that they answer you on several different levels, and this one is no different. Because here I get the hexagram the Wanderer. I basically just headed out on Interstate 8. I saw a sign for this place, and I went, hey, this sounds like fun. Saw a sign for this place, and I was losing daylight. I didn't really want to be driving around at night looking for some place to park this thing. I originally was going to go out to Anzo Borrego Desert, which is another 50 miles from here. And I didn't really want to spend the time doing that, and I thought, well, this looks fun, so I wandered in here, and it turned out to be a great little place. So there's only 3 other campers here, so it's been nice. Anyway, the I Ching says, the Wanderer, success through smallness. Perseverance brings good fortune to the Wanderer. And then the image is the fire on the mountain. And this is very interesting. The image of the Wanderer. Thus, the superior man is clear-minded and cautious in imposing penalties and protracting no lawsuits. So, a person who's a wanderer is always a stranger in wherever he goes, because he's wandering, he's never been there before. And that, to me, is so symbolic of the human condition. Every moment that we live is really a new moment, and it's only in our imaginations that the moments are the same. In fact, if we go back to Terence McKenna's overarching intent of nature is to have novelty, then to the degree that you resist change or resist the novelty is the degree that your life becomes difficult. And in this hexagram, there was a changing line. There's a changing line of 9 in the 3rd place. And I'll read this, it's very interesting. 9 in the 3rd place. The Wanderer's inn burns down. He loses the steadfastness of his young servant. Danger. And earlier today, the rangers have been driving back and forth. There's like 8 rangers here, and there's 3 people camping, but so they don't have much to do. And they noticed Wiki was just sitting outside the RV, just being a watchdog, just sitting there. Wasn't bothering anybody or going anywhere, but rangers pulled up and said, we need to have you put the leash on the dog, and so that's fine. I know that's the rule. I saw the signs, but I thought, well, there's nobody here. I'm sort of abusing my privilege of being a guest, and so in this judgment here in the I Ching, he's talking about the wanderer is not respecting the local laws or respecting the rules, and so as a result, he could get kicked out. So the inn burns down, and so that's the microcosm in this situation today with me personally. But in the larger scheme of things, isn't that so true of the ego? The ego is like the inn in one respect, and we are the wanderers as spiritual beings. We come into this body, and just for an instant of time, and that body serves us as we go through our wanderingnesses through life. And yet, if we don't respect the body, it burns down. If we don't respect nature's imperative to change, then we lose our ability to be happy. We lose our ability to be our essential selves, which is love, joy, bliss. These are natural conditions. But if we disrespect the local laws of incarnation, then through being overly egocentric, then we can lose that incarnation, basically, is what they're talking about. But here's the key thing, is that the hexagram changes from wanderer to, by virtue and via that changing line, into hexagram number 35, which is progress, which is interesting. So the wanderer, having had his inn burned down, now must wander on out into the world and expand his view, and with newfound respect for the rules and the proper way of doing things. And so as a result, he becomes more humble. And as he comes into his new abode, or his new area, he has much more respect. And so the local authorities take him under their wing. They say, there's a man who's learned something and looks very wise. And so because he has a humble nature, he's taken in and enjoyed by the people who are the leaders, or the kings, quote, quote, of the new realm that he's just entered. And so again, that's so true of not only what happened with me today, because I said, okay, great, that's fine, I'll hook you back up to the leash. We went out for a walk, and went down to the lake, and then Wookie had a great time chasing rabbits, as it ended up being, with me on the leash. Anyway, and I had come back and gained new insight as to where I was coming from on my trip by doing the I Ching. So I gained that progress, or made progress. So, and just accordingly, human beings, as they have gone through this giant 26,000 year cycle, have developed and come to a point where they realize that you must respect the laws of nature. You have to be true to your own nature, and when you do that, then progress is made. Evolution takes a leap, and I believe that's what this shift is all about. It's a leap in evolution. And although we are centering in on this particular one day, December 21st, 2012, this is really something that has been going on for at least a generation or two, and some would say it's an ongoing process. But again, if we go back to Terence McKenna and even Art Bell, when he wrote a book called The Quickening, they were talking about, I was listening to the interview again last night from 1997, and they were in hearty agreement that the fact that human consciousness is expanding and that people are, and events in the world are speeding up. And in fact, I remember back then there were some an article written in Scientific American that had stuck in my mind. Not that I read that all the time, but it just caught my eye one day, and was that literally time was speeding up. that was the conclusion of all these physicists that have been meeting in great earnest to try to figure out what was going on with the measurements they were taking. So this quickening was McKenna's additional anecdotal proof that time was requiring greater and greater novelty in order to continue to go forward. And so this little reading here I've done with this goes right along with that same idea. We, as we wander through the land and through more and more lands, we gain more and more experience, and this experience gives us greater and greater respect for the process of life, and then so we make greater evolutionary progress. So that's what happened with the I Ching. I love this thing. Here's to 2012.